What is going on, Colts Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Cody and Derek, back with another one, guys. Well, the Indianapolis Colts are 3-0, Derek. Well, that's great stuff. But we wanted to kind of talk about this defense a little bit today in this episode here, Derek. Before we do that, just wanted to remind you guys this episode is sponsored by FanDuel. Be sure to check out FanDuel, guys. All they have for all the different needs you have for sports, for football, whether NFL, college football, other sports that you want to be involved in. FanDuel is the best sporting betting app out there, so be sure to go check them out, guys. But, Derek, I wanted to talk about this topic here because this has been something that's been on my mind today a lot. And I've actually been posting about it on social media and stuff, and I've just been kind of thinking about this. So I thought, why not hop on here, have a conversation about it? I'd love to hear kind of where you're at with everything. I mean, we got to talk about this, Derek, because I feel like right now with the Indianapolis Colts, even though they're 3-0, even though everybody's happy, there still are some things we need to discuss when it comes to this team, right? It's not just, it can be so easy for people, and we were talking about this off air to say, oh, this team's 3-0, so they're above criticism, blah, 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 blah. Everything's fine. It's sunshine and rainbows and all that stuff, which is great, but there are things, Derek, as the Colts are going to continue, and they're going to play a very good team here coming up on Sunday against the Rams. There are concerns with some parts of this defense. Now, the offense, we know they've been at a historic pace. They've been looking really, really good, Derek. But two specific things I look at when it comes to this group, outside of the injuries, which obviously suck. We know the Colts have been decimated in that secondary with these injuries. But two things that come to mind for me, Derek. Number one has to be the pass rush because it's been very inconsistent so far through 3 weeks. Again, I know they got 4 sacks against the Tennessee Titans, but there were definitely times, Derek, where Cam Ward in this offense, they were getting into rhythm. He was not getting pressured, not getting knocked down, not getting sacked, and he really was able to do whatever he wanted against this Colts defense. And you kind of think if the Titans aren't as incompetent as they are, and if Brian Callahan's not their coach, they might have gone down and made this game quite a bit more interesting, if they would have actually capitalized on a few more opportunities there. So I am concerned about that, and I am concerned about the linebacker room. And where I kind of look at this right now, Derek, as I kind of am thinking about this when it comes to the defensive line, I foresee a couple different things I believe the Colts should do here. Either one of two things or preferably both would be great. But to me, I think the first thing here, Derek, is I think you got to take the snaps away from a player like Samson Ebukam, who, again, me, Derek, I was a huge Samson Ebukam fan when he came here and got signed in 2023. I was a fan of what he did. I thought he was disruptive. I thought he was an all-around pretty solid player for the Colts. He led the team in sacks that year, nearly got 10 sacks. I thought he was pretty good, but suffered that injury last year. I think it was an Achilles injury that sidelined him for the entirety of 2024. He comes back in 2025, and it's very obvious, at least through the first 3 weeks, Derek, that he is just not the same player he was in 2023. So I look at that and I say, hey, you have this young kid in JT Tuimuluau who has not been playing because he's been, getting other guys have been getting snaps over him. But I kind of look at it right now, Derek, and I think you need to start doing some things in terms of Samson Ebukam and his role on this Colts defense. Because if Sunday's any indication, it's not going to be good. It's not. What are your thoughts just on the Samson Ebukam situation there, and then just the fact that you have a young kid in JT Tuimuluau just sitting there who, mind you, was pretty darn good at Ohio State? What are your thoughts just on that situation and maybe how the Colts need to maybe switch up some things when it comes to their edge rushers?
Yeah, I mean, outside of a Latu special, I mean, there hasn't really been a whole lot more to this group right now. It's been just empty when it comes to this edge group, because Latu, he gets a ton of pressures. It just a lot of times doesn't result in sacks for himself. He does get a few, but it just doesn't end up finishing for him. And the problem is you got DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart in the middle, but those guys only can get so much, and especially when DeForest Buckner is the one getting double teamed all the time. And so you're looking for your other edge guy to pick it up. And right now, I mean, Kwity Paye really hasn't There's no consistency there. And like you said, Ebukam, he's non-existent in both the run game and the pass game right now. And not to mention, he's your oldest edge rusher, and he's coming into a contract year. I mean, that's another thing. And then your second round draft pick that you took this year hasn't even seen the field yet. Like, one of your best defensive linemen that you have is your fourth string defensive end. And that's really sad to think about right now. And, you know, we're talking about what in some way is Indianapolis going to do. And, you know, to be completely honest with you, Cody, I think the Colts need to go all in on getting an edge rusher. And I have a scenario, if you're willing to hear it here in a second, but the Colts, if they're being serious about like this season being the one to go all in, I mean, there's only a few moves you can do that are going to actually make that look realistic.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that here in just a second about what the Colts could do there in that department. But I think at the bare minimum, Derek, you need to be giving your young player, JT Tuimoloau, some more snaps. And you need to be giving it maybe to a player like Tyquan Lewis, who had 2 sacks.
Any snaps. Yeah. And JTT has been a healthy scratch for the first 3 weeks.
Yeah. So you need to change up how that looks. I mean, you just can't continue to throw out an ineffective player out there. Like you said, it's not like he's not getting to the quarterback, but being a real stud in the run game. No, he's not doing either, which is definitely a concern. He's obviously coming off the injury, and there's just a lot of question marks. He's 30 years old. There's a lot of things going against him right now. So I'd rather go with some young guys and kind of see what you have at the very least, or guys who are in their snaps. You know, Tuimoloau's not getting snaps, but the other guys even getting some more snaps. Like you said, Tyquan Lewis getting a few more snaps even. Like, just do something to change it up. I think you got to do that from a snap standpoint. But then we'll jump into the other part of it, like the idea of you maybe need to go out there and make a splash when it comes to edge rusher. I mean, well, talk to me about your scenario here, Derek. I mean, I have in my mind, I have an idea of like maybe a player from a team that's really not doing well, and maybe you're going to try to be sellers here come the NFL trade deadline. You know, start making some calls there if you're Chris Ballard. But what is your kind of thought there, and who do you have in mind? What's your scenario?
Okay, so this is just edge department. I can mention another group here in a second, but I have to say this. The option of Trey Hendrickson to the Indianapolis Colts should not be dead. Now, I understand they gave him that new contract, and which takes hold next year, and what have you. But if the Bengals, who are going to miss Joe Burrow until December, right? And we saw what just happened against Minnesota. They got absolutely destroyed, Cody. Destroyed. Nothing going well for them. Yes, they're 2-1, but they made it to 2-0 with their starting quarterback in there. And let's face it, they weren't looking good in those 2 games either. They won, but they weren't winning convincingly. And now you don't have that quarterback, and that team looks like they have no idea what they're doing. So if the Bengals start stringing together a bunch of losses, and let's just say what week is the trade deadline? Is it week 8 or week 9?
It's around there. I feel like it's around mid-season. Yeah.
I can't remember what week it is specifically. If you can look that up for me, that'd be great. But if you have a scenario in which the Bengals start losing a bunch of games, then Colts should be in serious consideration for this.
Yeah. Because so the trade deadline is just just let you know, beginning of November 4th is the official trade deadline.
Okay. So you have you have about 5 weeks? Yeah, you have about 5 more weeks. So after week 8. So if the Bengals lose 3 or 4 of their next 5 games, and they start really looking really bad, I'm the Colts. I'm putting all chips in. All chips in. Trey Hendrickson is still one of the premier edge rushers in the league. You're looking for someone to take that step on the defensive line. What better scenario could you ask for, Cody? A somewhat healthy defense with a Trey Hendrickson on this defensive line. We've already seen how good this defense is in comparison to years past. We already know they're already looking better. Imagine the next level that this Colts defense can go to if you get something like that. I don't care what it costs. I really do not care what it costs, because the Bengals are already going to know they have to get these assets. They have to get assets. They can't afford the players that they're getting right now, and their defense is still trash. Even with Trey Hendrickson on it, they still gave up 50 to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, in fairness, they didn't give up 50 from their defense. The Vikings defense scored 14 points by itself, but you still gave up 30 to a Carson Wentz-led Vikings team. Okay? Like, throw all the chips in. Throw them all in. I don't care what it costs you. Throw in a first this next year. Honestly, I don't even care, because honestly, Cody, if the way things are going right now, if the Indianapolis Colts are going to keep winning games the way they are right now, I don't think it's illogical to think Daniel Jones might be this team's quarterback for the next several years, potentially. Because remember, Daniel Jones is only 29. Yeah. And I mean, if he's playing like this all year and you're still playing in the middle of the season, the Indianapolis Colts still have a potential top 5 offense, and you have like a 6-2 record or a 5-3 record, and you're still on a hot streak. I mean, you could see it. You should throw everything you have at that to make this team be as good as possible, because right now you're up there with the big dogs. You're up there. There's the 3 best teams in the NFL at this current moment. The 4 best teams are Buffalo, the Ravens, Philly, and Indy. Seriously. So take advantage. Go out there and just do it. Just go out and get another piece that would just take your defense to the next level.
Well, so here's my thing, and a quick correction there. Daniel Jones, 28, so just you get another year there. So, but anyway, so my biggest thing, Derek, and I think a lot of people who are against the anti Trey Hendrickson trade people were, and I understood it, and I was kind of there too. It didn't make sense because you didn't know who your quarterback was long term, right? And you thought, we need a top pick because we're probably going to suck this year. We need a top pick to go draft a quarterback in 2025 or in 2026, excuse me. Like, that's what everybody's kind of thought process was. Now, again, it's 3 games, so you still have some time to kind of figure it out 100%. So, like you're right. Like, say in the next 2-3 weeks, Daniel Jones continues to show what he's showing you. You continue to play well offensively, and you view him as this guy's going to be our long-term piece for the next 3, 4, 5+ years. Okay. Then you can play around with it. You know, I kind of liken it, Derek, in certain ways to what the Indiana Pacers did. You know, they had the Tyrese Halliburton. They had their star guy. They went and traded for another piece there. Again, it's not a complete apples to apples, but they went and got the veteran that was going to put them over the edge. And I think in a similar way, the Colts have an opportunity. If they can keep doing what they're doing, and Daniel Jones can keep being that quarterback and making a case for being the quarterback long-term, Derek, if he can continue to do what Baker Mayfield did his first year in Tampa, like, there's no reason why the Colts shouldn't go and, go all in, like you said. If they believe that they're just a couple pieces away from being maybe like a good team to being a potentially elite team, like, I agree with you. I think it's worth it.
And let me be completely honest. We're looking at this 2026 draft class, Cody, for the quarterbacks. It's not looking good right now. It is not. It's looking terrible. Like, Arch Manning, he's not coming into the draft this year. He is playing badly, and he needs to stay another year. Nussmeier from LSU, looks pretty good, but I mean, again, some things he needs to work on. Lagway from Florida, yeah, he's not good. Sellers from South Carolina, yeah, he's not playing very great right now. Cade Klubnik, yeah, he's not playing good at all this year. So, like, all these top prospects that we're raving about, or like, there's going to be 5 or 6 guys in this draft class that are going to be potential number 1 overall picks. And honestly, they all suck. They all suck. So, like, honestly, it's kind of now. Obviously, there's more to the college football season. They obviously are only 4 weeks into it now, but right now, as it currently looks, as it currently stands, when we're recording this, it might be in the best case scenario for the Indianapolis Colts to just pay Daniel Jones some money, keep him around for a few more years. If your offense is going to continue to move at this kind of pace the way it is, and just use those draft picks in accumulating more talent. Because again, Cody, the offense has talent and it's mostly young. I know that there's a couple veterans on that offense, but Jonathan Taylor yet to show any sort of regression in his talent. Wide receivers, most guys are on their first contract or early into their second contract. Tyler Warren, just a rookie. And when you're talking about the offensive line, sure, you have a couple veterans there that, you know, futures could wane here and there, but you have a couple new offensive linemen on there now that are really doing what they need to do. So offensively, you don't need these draft picks right now. And now this is all subject to change. But if that stays the same and offensively, you don't need top draft picks to really increase your productivity, go get the guy that you know is going to increase productivity on the defensive side. And Cody, I'm sick and tired of drafting edge guys. I'm tired of it. Ballard can't do it. He has failed time and time and time again to find us any sort of edge guy that is going to do anything to make a game difference. Latu might be, but it's still too early to tell. And again, it took him 8 years to find Latu on the edge after 7 or 8 other guys before that didn't pan out. And not to mention, you drafted one this year, and he's a healthy scratch through the first 3 weeks. So quit drafting one. Go trade for the big ones. Just throw it all in there.
Or, you know, like if you have to wait, I guess, like go and sign one next year, but you'd like to have it now while you're 3-0. I mean, that would be preferred. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, I think you have the opportunity. I was just kind of poking at the free agents for next year. There are a couple guys you're going to have to pay. Like you said, if Daniel Jones continues doing this, you're going to have to pay him. You're going to have to probably pay Braden Smith a decent amount. You want to keep him because he has been good. If he stays healthy, you want to keep that intact. And then really the only other guy on that offense would be Alec Pierce that you have to pay. Other than that, Derek, I think pretty much everybody else is under contract for the next couple years, which is definitely great. You just re-signed Bernard Ryman. So you have a lot of these guys under contract, which is definitely good. And, you know, obviously if you re-sign these guys, I really don't view the offense, Derek, as a position group. I don't really see a position group on this offense that you need to heavily address if they continue to do what they've been doing. Like, I don't see a position group there. So you're right. You can allocate a lot, if not all of those resources this next year into really, really bolstering that defense even more. And if you can do that, I think you're going to be really set, Derek, moving forward. But in the here and now, it would make some sense to get really the final couple pieces, if you can, to make this defense what it is. And if you start getting a few guys back healthy, this defense, I think, can continue to get better as the season progresses on. So, yeah, I would agree with you there, but it's going to be fascinating. And then I would also say the Colts should look to do something at linebacker. I mean, the linebacker group, we kind of knew it was a little bit of an issue, and hopefully you get back Jalen Carlisle, and he can help in the pass coverage standpoint. But, Derek, I also would not be opposed if the Colts went out and traded for a linebacker that excels in coverage, because their linebackers, Zaire Franklin included, are awful in coverage. Just awful.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And it's a problem, man. Even with more DBs out there, it's still been a problem. So I would not be opposed if the Colts did the edge rush thing. And then if they brought in some sort of linebacker via trade, or if they signed somebody that they believe can help them out in that department, I just think you need some fresh things here on this defense because we've seen this defense through 3 weeks. Obviously, week 1, we knew defense looked really good. But for 2 weeks in a row now, Derek, there's been continual issues, and they've been the same issues. And that's a problem. And if, like you said, if you feel like you can go on a run here, if your offense keeps this pace up, your defense has to come alongside and match them. And they have to get more stops. They have to create pressure. They have to have better linebacker play. They got to get healthy. They got to do those things because if your defense can even do half of what your offense is doing, you're going to be a really, really good team.
I hope I would love to potentially see if they could bring in Isaiah Simmons. That could be an interesting one for me. An athletic guy that can move around. I know he's been passed around a lot and it's been tough for him, but I could see him potentially being utilized really well in Lou Anarumo's defense. And I'll just say this, Cody, if there's one person at cornerback, if you have one more cornerback injury, please call Stephon Gilmore. That's all I'm asking. Call Stephon Gilmore again. I know he's old as all can be, but the last time he was on the field, he was playing relatively well. So, yeah. I mean, if worst ever came to worst.
Right. I mean, there's some people who are even clamoring for him now. Like, they want Stephon Gilmore on this roster. It would kind of be funny to bring him back after he requested a trade out, So, but anyway, yeah, we'll just have to see what the Colts do. But regardless of if they make some splash moves or not, Derek, they need to just change some things up some way with this defense because the last 2 weeks have not been great from those two standpoints. Now, again, your secondary, like I said, has had their fair share of injuries, so that definitely hasn't helped. But these two groups, at least early here, Derek, have been consistent issues. So hopefully the Colts can figure it out here. And if they can get better in these two areas, I really think their defense can go from probably an average unit right now based off of 3 weeks. They can go to above average or even get into that elite category. That would be fantastic. But we'll just have to see. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for this one. Again, shout out to FanDuel. Just wanted to look here at the early money line here, Derek. The Indianapolis Colts right now are not favored in this game. The Rams are favored. It is in Los Angeles on Sunday. So the Colts right now, when you look at their money line, they're 166. So if you think the Colts can pull this off, man, you might be able, and you might want to take that if you're, placing a bet on the Colts here for week number 4. Again, the Rams are going to be a tough contest, but that's kind of where it is right now, guys, from a betting standpoint. So again, thank you to FanDuel for sponsoring this video and every video here and every live stream for the 2025 season. So be sure to go check them out, guys. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.